Hello, how are you? I hope you're doing fine. Today I'm here to give you an update on the Rebecca Hillman case. Now, Captain Rebecca Hillman is a New York City correction captain who's on trial for criminally negligent homicide in the death of inmate Ryan Wilson, who committed suicide. Now, she took the stand on Thursday in her own defense, and she is not going quietly. She is putting up a defense. She's saying that the department is dysfunctional. They didn't give her the proper training, that they brought her back from her leave too early, and they certified her to come back to work when she was not fit to come back to work, and that the facility they had her in, she wasn't familiar with. She's got a myriad of issues that she is calling into question, and I'm going to get into them right now. Now, one of the major issues she brings up is that she was not ready to come back to work. In 2019, she went out on bereavement leave because a friend of hers was murdered. And she stayed out for 9 months because of that. And then they brought her back and she worked modified duty for several months after that. And in July of 2020, they said that she was ready to come back to work, which she disagreed with. Now, in terms of this bereavement issue, the prosecution is saying that when she submitted her paperwork for the bereavement leave, that she stated that this person that had been murdered was her sister. But in fact, the person was her friend. And they're suggesting that she falsified these documents so she could get the leave. And so they asked her, when they did the cross-examination about this, and they asked her, what is your definition of sister? And at that point, she broke down and started crying, and she couldn't answer the question. Also, she's saying that she didn't get proper training. She's saying when she came back to work that she didn't get a refresher course and that she's never had the suicide prevention training. But the prosecution came back with documents that documented that in 2014, 2015, and 2018 that she had the suicide prevention training, to which she says that she doesn't remember having the suicide prevention training and that the department does not keep good records. So she's calling into question the records that the department keeps. She's also saying that the officers never told her that the inmate was serious. Now, there's a video of this entire incident, right? And it's 15 minutes of her in the cell area and what she's doing during this 15 minutes. And she, at this point during her testimony, she's trying to walk the jury through what she was doing during this 15 minutes while Ryan Wilson was hanging. And she's walking around. The prosecution is saying that she's doing everything but taking care of this situation, cutting this inmate down, or giving the order to cut the inmate down, that she's just doing busy work and she's not taking this incident serious at all. And she's saying that she thought the inmate was playing. They're showing other inmates gathering around the cell. They're showing an officer frantically trying to get her attention or trying to get somebody to respond, but she's not responding. She's doing other things. And she's saying that it's common for inmates to threaten suicide to get her attention so they can get their matter handled, to make her feel that they are serious, but she doesn't think that this inmate was serious. It's not until she went to the cell, had them open the cell, and she saw him hanging that she felt that something was going on. So she told the inmate who was hanging for 15 minutes to come down. And when he didn't move, she knew that something wasn't right. But she thought that he was still playing because his feet were on the ground. And at that point, when he didn't move, then she ordered the officer to go in and cut him down. Now, after the incident, the prosecution is saying that she confronted the officer, or she went to the officer and told the officer to write a report that wasn't accurate. And she's saying that she didn't do that, that she went to the officer to comfort the officer. And then after the incident, she went to the captain's lounge and she broke down and started crying. And this is very interesting. This is an interesting scenario. She's saying that they sent her to this facility, which is Manhattan Detention Complex, in July of 2020, and she had never worked there prior to that. And so she wasn't familiar with the layout, and she was still learning the layout. And that they gave her 6 housing areas that she was supposed to be responsible for, and she didn't know the staff. So she's saying that, she wasn't really ready for all of this. And she's saying they wanted to send her to firearms training, and she resisted that. She told them that she wasn't ready for that either. So she's mounting a defense to these charges, and she's putting the responsibility on the department, as is her lawyer. Her lawyer is saying that the department is dysfunctional. In his closing arguments, he's saying that, yes, she should have been more diligent, but the other officers should have been more diligent as well, and the department should be more diligent. And he's saying that the department is dysfunctional at best. It's very dysfunctional. Now, the prosecutor, she is saying that this is a gross dereliction of duty, and that she's more or less saying that who would do something like this. Now, she's given her closing arguments with the still picture of Ryan Wilson hanging with his arms by his side from this rope around his neck, the bed sheet around his neck. And she's telling the jury, while she's doing this, she's saying, is the risk not obvious that if left in this position for 15 minutes, this individual may just not survive? We're talking about risk, not certainty. If you came upon this scene walking in the park today, would you not believe there's a substantial risk this person may not survive? Would it be reasonable to just keep looking at him? So she's saying that anybody would see that this is a big problem, and that is her responsibility to cut him down. Now, a little more background on Hillman. She's now on modified duty. She was temporarily suspended after the incident, and now she's on modified duty at Anna M. Cross Center on Rikers Island. And she doesn't have inmate contact, and she had been written up twice in the past for insufficient performance of duties. And a little background on the inmate Ryan Wilson. Ryan Wilson was 29 years old. He had been a long sufferer of bipolar disorder. The prosecution is saying that he had not caused correction staff trouble and spent hours perfecting his hobby of creating paper red roses out of tissue paper and Kool-Aid. Wilson had been at the Manhattan Detention Complex for about a month after he was arrested on third-degree robbery charges. He was released from prison the previous summer after serving 7 years for attempted robbery. So that's his background. Now, being that this is a suicide issue that we're talking about, I would like to say, if someone you know exhibits warning signs of suicide, do not leave the person alone. Remove any firearms, drugs, alcohol, or sharp objects that may be used to commit suicide with. Call or text 988 or chat at 988lifeline.org, or take the person to an emergency room, or seek medical or mental health professional help. So with that, if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you can get updates, because the verdict should be coming down soon, and as soon as it hits, I'm going to let you know. So as always, until next time, peace and stay safe.
Be sure to check out our sponsor, jailkeychains.com, for the best items created to honor correctional officers, because COs are heroes.